November 1971. A private letter arrives at Marlon Brando's Mulholland Drive estate. No return address. Just a name typed on the envelope. John Wayne. Brando opens it. Inside, one sentence. 7 words. His hands begin to shake. He reads it again. Then a third time. He sits down slowly. The most famous actor in America, the man who mocked John Wayne's masculinity on national television just 3 weeks earlier, is now staring at a piece of paper like it contains his own death sentence. Brando never responds. He never speaks publicly about John Wayne again. Not once. For the rest of his life. Hollywood noticed. America noticed. But nobody knew why. What did that letter say? What 7 words silenced the most outspoken man in Hollywood? And what secret about John Wayne did Brando discover that changed everything he believed about courage, masculinity, and the man he publicly humiliated? Here is the story. Los Angeles, California. October 14th, 1971. The Dick Cavett Show. Studio lights blaze. Audience packed. Marlon Brando sits across from Cavett, relaxed, confident, untouchable. Cavett leans forward. So Marlon, what do you think of John Wayne? The audience shifts. Everyone knows Wayne and Brando represent 2 different Americas. 2 different kinds of men. Brando smiles. That slow, dangerous smile. John Wayne. He pauses. John Wayne is not a man. He's a costume. A hat, a horse, and a script. He plays tough guys because he never had to be one. He waves the flag because he never carried a rifle. He talks about courage because he's never had to find out if he has any. The audience gasps. Some laugh nervously. Cavett's eyes widen. Brando continues. Wayne sat out World War II making movies while real men were dying on beaches. Then he spent the next 30 years pretending to be those men. That's not masculinity. That's performance. That's a lie America tells itself so it can sleep at night. Silence. Then applause. Scattered at first, then louder. The interview airs nationwide. Newspapers print the quote. Radio stations replay it. Within 48 hours, America is divided. Half the country agrees with Brando. The other half wants his head. Veterans groups demand an apology. Fan mail floods Paramount Studios. Some letters support Brando. Others contain threats. One veteran writes, Wayne visited my hospital bed in 1944. Where were you, Brando? In Newport Beach, California. John Wayne sits in his living room. His wife Pilar watches him read the newspaper. The headline screams Brando's words back at him. Wayne sets the paper down. His jaw tightens. He says nothing. Pilar speaks softly. Duke, are you going to respond? Wayne stares out the window. The Pacific Ocean stretches to the horizon. Somewhere out there, men died in ships. Many made movies about. Many never fought beside. He stands. Walks to his study. Closes the door. Everyone expects a war. Hollywood braces for the biggest feud in its history. John Wayne never lets an insult stand. Never. But 3 days pass. No response. A week. Nothing. 2 weeks. Silence. Then the letter. November 1st, 1971. John Wayne sits alone in his study. Oak desk. Dim lamp. A single piece of paper in front of him. He's been sitting here for 2 hours. Pilar knocks. Duke, it's late. He doesn't answer. She opens the door slowly. Sees him staring at the blank page. What are you doing? Wayne looks up. His eyes are different. Not angry. Something else. Something she's never seen in 40 years of marriage. Writing a letter. To who? Brando. Pilar freezes. Duke, don't. He wants a fight. Don't give him one. Wayne shakes his head slowly. I'm not giving him a fight. I'm giving him the truth. She steps closer. What truth? The truth he doesn't know. The truth nobody knows. Wayne picks up his pen. His hand is steady. He writes slowly. Carefully. 7 words. Then he folds the paper. Slides it into an envelope. Types Brando's name on the front. No return address. Pilar watches. Duke, what did you write? Wayne looks at her. She sees something in his eyes she's never seen before. Shame. Old shame. Decades of it. Something I should have said a long time ago. Quick thought. Have you ever carried a secret so heavy that confessing it felt like dying? Drop a comment below. 3 days later, Mulholland Drive, Brando's estate. The envelope arrives with a morning mail. Brando almost throws it away. No return address. Probably another threat from some angry veteran. But the typed name stops him. John Wayne. He opens it. Inside, one sentence. 7 words. Handwritten. Wayne's handwriting. Unmistakable from decades of autographs. Brando reads it. His face changes. The arrogance drains. The smirk disappears. He reads it again. Then a third time. He sits down on the front steps of his own mansion. The most powerful actor in Hollywood. The man who just humiliated John Wayne in front of millions. Sitting on concrete, like a child who just learned something that broke his understanding of the world. The letter says 7 words. Just 7. You're right. I was afraid too. Brando stares at the paper. His hands tremble. John Wayne, the symbol of American masculinity, the man who played soldiers and cowboys and lawmen for 40 years, just admitted he was afraid. Not defensive, not angry, not fighting back. Just truth. Raw, naked, devastating. Brando doesn't know what to do. For the first time in his life, he has no response. But what he doesn't know yet is what Wayne means by too. What was Wayne afraid of? And why does that single word change everything? December 7th, 1941. Pearl Harbor. America enters World War II. Every able-bodied man lines up to enlist. Movie stars included. Clark Gable joins the Army Air Forces. James Stewart becomes a bomber pilot. Henry Fonda enlists in the Navy. John Wayne fills out the paperwork. Twice. Both times, Republic Pictures intervenes. They claim he's essential to the war effort at home. Morale. Entertainment. Keeping America's spirits high. Wayne accepts the deferment. Tells himself it's temporary. He'll enlist next month. Next year. When filming wraps. He never does. The war ends. 6 million Americans served. 400,000 never came home. John Wayne made 13 movies. He never speaks about it publicly. But those who know him, truly know him, see something change after 1945. A heaviness. A silence when veterans visit the set. A look in his eyes when someone thanks him for his service, thinking he actually served. He didn't. And that guilt, that secret shame, becomes the engine of everything he does for the next 30 years. Every war movie, every soldier he plays, every flag he waves. Not pride, penance. Sands of Iwo Jima. Wayne plays a Marine sergeant. Real Marines train him. Real veterans watch him film. One night, after shooting, an old sergeant approaches him. Private conversation. No cameras. Mr. Wayne, I was at Iwo Jima. Lost my brother there. Wayne can't meet his eyes. The sergeant continues. I know you didn't serve. A lot of us know. Wayne's throat tightens. He waits for the accusation. The anger. The word coward. But the sergeant says something else. We don't care. You're telling our story. You're making sure America doesn't forget us. That's service too. Wayne breaks. Not visibly. Not in front of the man. But something inside him cracks. He excuses himself. Walks to his trailer. Sits in the dark for an hour. From that day forward, Wayne visits veterans' hospitals. Not for publicity. No cameras. No press releases. He shows up at 6 a.m. Talks to men missing legs, missing arms, missing pieces of themselves. He sits with them for hours. Listens to their stories. Writes letters to their families. He visits Gold Star mothers. Women who lost sons. He doesn't talk. He just sits with them. Sometimes holds their hands. Sometimes cries with them. Nobody knows. He forbids anyone from telling the press. When a reporter catches him leaving a VA hospital in 1962, Wayne threatens to destroy his career if he prints the story. The story never runs. But the guilt never leaves. Every time someone calls him a hero, he hears the lie. Every time someone thanks him for representing American strength, he feels the fraud. Then Brando goes on national television and says it out loud. Says what Wayne has whispered to himself every night for 26 years. He never served. He's a costume, a performance, a lie. And Wayne doesn't fight back because he can't. Because Brando is right. Partially right. About the facts. But Brando doesn't know what Wayne did with that guilt. Doesn't know about the hospitals, the letters, the mothers, the 3 a.m. phone calls with suicidal veterans. Doesn't know that Wayne turned his shame into service. Quiet service. Invisible service. So Wayne writes the letter. 7 words. You're right. I was afraid too. Not a defense. Not an excuse. A confession. And that word, too, is the knife. Because Wayne knows something about Brando. Something the public doesn't know. Brando didn't serve either. Same war. Same excuses. Same guilt. 2 men. 2 frauds. 2 costumes. Only one of them had the courage to admit it. Mulholland Drive. November 4th, 1971. 3 days after the letter arrives. Brando hasn't slept. The paper sits on his kitchen table. 7 words. He's read them 1,000 times. You're right. I was afraid too. 2. That word haunts him. Wayne knows. Somehow Wayne knows. September 1943. Marlon Brando receives his draft notice. He reports for his physical. The doctor examines him. Finds a knee injury from football. Brando could fight it. Could request a waiver. Could enlist anyway, like thousands of other men with minor injuries. He doesn't. He accepts the 4F classification. Unfit for service. Goes back to New York. Studies acting while other men storm beaches. He tells himself it's not his fault. The army rejected him. He didn't reject the army. But late at night, in the years that follow, he knows the truth. He didn't fight the classification because he didn't want to fight. He was afraid. Afraid of dying. Afraid of killing. Afraid of finding out what kind of man he really was. So he becomes someone else. Method acting. Disappearing into characters. Playing tough guys, rebels, fighters. Men with courage he wasn't sure he possessed. Same as Wayne. Different costume. Same fraud. Ever had someone see through you completely? That moment when the mask falls and there's nowhere to hide. Share your story below. November 5th, 1971. Brando makes a phone call. Not to the press. Not to his agent. To John Ford, the legendary director. The man who made John Wayne a star. Ford answers. What do you want, Brando? Brando's voice is quiet. I need to know something about Wayne. Ford laughs. You want ammunition? More insults? No. I need to know what he does. When the cameras aren't rolling, what does he do? Silence on the line. Long silence. Then Ford speaks. Something different in his voice. Why do you want to know? Because he wrote me a letter. And I think I've made a terrible mistake. Ford doesn't answer immediately. When he does, his voice is heavy. Call Walter Reed Hospital. Ask for Sergeant Major Thompson. Ask him about the man who visited every month for 15 years. No cameras. No publicity. Just a man in a cowboy hat, sitting with broken soldiers, telling them they mattered. Brando writes down the name. Then call Margaret Holloway in Tulsa. Gold Star mother. Lost 3 sons. 3. Ask her who called every Christmas morning for a decade. Who paid for her house when the bank tried to take it. Who never let her thank him publicly because he said he didn't deserve thanks. Brando's hand trembles. Ford's voice drops. You called Wayne a costume. A performance. You know what I call him. The only man in Hollywood who turned his shame into something useful. What did you do with yours, Marlon? The line goes dead. Brando sits in silence. The letter on the table. 7 words that just became a mirror. And he doesn't like what he sees. November 12th, 1971. 1 week after Ford's phone call. Brando does something he's never done. He picks up the phone and dials John Wayne's home. Directly. No agents. No publicists. Just man to man. Pilar answers. Wayne residence. Brando hesitates. This is Marlon Brando. I need to speak with John. Silence. Long silence. Pilar's voice turns cold. You have some nerve calling this house. I know. I do. But please. Tell him I called. Tell him I need to speak with him. He'll understand. She hangs up. Brando waits. 1 hour. 2 hours. 3. He doesn't move from the phone. Doesn't eat. Doesn't sleep. Then it rings. Duke's voice. Low. Tired. What do you want, Brando? Brando speaks slowly. I made the calls. Sergeant Major Thompson. Margaret Holloway. 6 others. I know what you've been doing. For years. Decades. Silence on the line. Brando continues. I went on television and called you a fraud. A costume. A man who never found out if he had courage. His voice cracks. I was describing myself. Not you. You found out. You found out every time you walked into those hospitals. Every time you sat with a mother who lost her son. Every time you picked up the phone at 3 a.m. for a veteran who wanted to end it all. Wayne says nothing. Brando's voice drops to a whisper. I never did any of that. I took my guilt and buried it. Pretended it didn't exist. Pointed fingers at other men, so nobody would look at me. Still silence. Then Wayne speaks. One sentence. We all carry weight, Marlon. What matters is what you do with it. Brando closes his eyes. The words cut deeper than any insult. Wayne continues. I'm not angry. I was never angry. I was just tired. Tired of pretending. Your interview gave me permission to stop. What do you mean? That letter I sent you. First time I ever admitted it out loud. To anyone. Took your insult to make me finally say the truth. Brando exhales. I don't know how to make this right. Wayne's voice softens. You don't make it right with me. You make it right with them. The ones who actually served. The line goes quiet. Then Wayne adds one final thing. Start tomorrow. I'll tell you where. November 15th, 1971. Veterans Administration Hospital. Los Angeles. 2 men walk through the front doors. No cameras. No press. No publicity. John Wayne and Marlon Brando. Side by side. Nurses freeze. Patients stare. Nobody speaks. Wayne leads Brando to the burn ward. 3rd floor. The worst cases. Men who came home with half their faces missing. Men who couldn't look in mirrors anymore. Wayne walks to the first bed. Sits down. Takes the man's hand. Brando watches. Then finds his own chair. His own veteran. His own hand to hold. They stay for 6 hours. It becomes a ritual. Once a month. Sometimes more. Always private. Always secret. For the next 8 years, until Wayne's death in 1979, the 2 men who represented opposite Americas visit hospitals together. Nobody knows. No photographs exist. No records. Until 2003. Brando gives his final interview before his death. The reporter asks about his greatest regret. Brando pauses. His eyes fill. Thinking I knew what courage looked like. Thinking it was loud. Thinking it was performance. A man taught me it's quiet. It's showing up when no one's watching. It's turning your shame into service. The reporter asks who. Brando smiles. The only cowboy who was real. John Wayne never defended himself publicly. Never had to. He let his silence speak. He let his service speak louder. 2 men who called each other frauds discovered they were the same. Broken. Guilty. Human. And they healed together. In secret. In service. In truth. What weight are you carrying that nobody knows about? Share it below. You're not alone. They don't make men like this anymore.